For more, we're pleased to welcome Aislinn Connolly, security and privacy researcher at France's prestigious École Normale Supérieure. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
There's a French angle to this story. We've discovered that last Friday, the French government sending to the French Senate an amendment to a bill to, quote, assure the security of mobile networks and to prevent espionage or sabotage. This country's in the throes of getting its 5G network up and running. We're still at 4G for the time being. And this measure is obviously targeting Huawei. Huawei, which is partners with, what, two of the country's 4 big mobile operators.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very interesting development. So, I mean, I think from my perspective, there are 2 angles to this. There are the angles that, okay, there's the security issue, as you mentioned, the espionage, and there are these claims made against Huawei that, you know, perhaps we cannot trust them because they're Chinese. And
there's a law that Huawei is not allowed to use its technology in the city limits of Paris?
Actually, this is maybe a good thing as well, because given, you know, the recent events in China and the surveillance issues that they have, it's impossible to say whether the technology that is developed there is actually trustworthy. Now, there are no facts to say otherwise, but given what we see, and given the fact that Huawei is a private company, we have no idea what goes into their technology, no way to test it, no way to analyze it. There's no way that we can say for sure that things are safe and secure. So
last fall there was this a big inauguration for the new headquarters of SFR's in the not far from here, a couple of blocks away. You walked by there, you said earlier. Just so happens it's across the street from the new headquarters of the French Defense Ministry. Could it be a stationing post for spying on the French Defense Ministry, the offices of SFR?
I mean, you know, there are a lot of changes happening in technology now, and most of the major technology companies had reduced profits from last year. So now people are resorting to maybe somewhat extreme measures, and they have to move to new kind of ways of working and new ways of making money. And so because the technology problem is solved, like we have fixed a lot of things. So the next thing now we need to figure, or companies need to figure, is how can we make money out of this? And the way we make money is by having the most information. And so something like this is plausible to leverage their information.
Chinese say it's a witch hunt. Do they have a point or not?
I mean, they absolutely have a point. I mean, the backlash from the US and from Europe and Australia is quite extreme, in my opinion.
And sudden.
And sudden. And, you know, they pick on a lot of points without necessarily having concrete facts to build them up. It's a lot of speculation, and they're really hitting them hard. And
because Huawei's stealing market share?
They say that, as well as Huawei stealing ideas. And so taking proprietary information from the US and using it in the Chinese products. So they have reason to be, you know, hard on Huawei, but this hard is, I'm not so sure. They're being too hard almost. So it begs the question, do they have their own business interests in mind?
You sound like you're thinking that, I don't know, if there's suddenly some kind of breakthrough in those trade negotiations between China and the US, could this all go away?
I think very much, yes. You know, there are these stories about stealing the ideas, and there are stories about espionage, and maybe there are backdoors and things like this. I think a lot of people use this as an excuse for leverage to push Huawei away. If the trade negotiations work out well, then I think these issues can be swept under the carpet very quickly because, you know, I mean, all countries, sorry to say, and all companies do steal ideas and do, you know, try to spy on each other a little bit. So I think these things can be ignored if the trade agreement comes to fruition.
Aislinn Connolly of l'École Normale Supérieure, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.